I'm Brett.
And I'm Lauren.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Joe.
And this is our team, researching...
How can we stop this?
What will happen to the food, the plants, and the animals?
Where's all the water?
What's happening? Did you know that in the last decade, the Colorado River Basin alone has lost over 17 trillion gallons of water? That's enough water to supply 50 million homes for an entire year.
So those three uses of water, we have recreation, municipalities, and energy production. That doesn't even make up for half of the water used in Colorado. Why not? Because the key is agriculture. Agriculture makes up for 80 to 85% of the water in Colorado, and this puts agriculture in a very dangerous position.
Here we are at the 7 News, one of Colorado's most popular news stations, to interview Mike Nelson, a 14-time Emmy-winning meteorologist for Most Outstanding Weather Anchor. Let's see what he has to say about this topic. Let's go.
Biggest concerns we have in the future are going to be primarily water because of drought. The key thing with water in the future is that drought is not just lack of precipitation. Drought is precipitation and evaporation. So as the climate overall warms in the long term, even if we stayed at the same amount of precipitation, we would have more drought because we'd have more evaporation.
Okay.
What we've noticed over the last couple of decades is that we're seeing a faster meltout of snowpack in the spring, which does a couple of things. One, your rivers go up sooner, your conditions dry out faster in the foothills, so your wildfire season comes in quicker, so you have a longer wildfire season. And then we're tending to see that that has an impact on our water supplies as well, because people will start to use their sprinkler systems earlier in the year because it's an earlier spring. So those are the concerns we have moving forward there. A couple of things as far as Colorado and agriculture. We're a heavily agricultural state. I'm not sure exactly what it is, if it's 80 or 90% of the water is used for agricultural purposes, but there's a couple of things going on there. We're all of a sudden doing a tremendous amount of hydraulic fracturing, which is using water, right. Millions and millions of gallons of water. Well, that's coming from someplace. Agriculture still has a lot of demand on it, but it's not just Colorado. I mean, we are a headwaters state, so the rivers here all flow out just about entirely. I think it's just the Green in the northwest corner of the state's the only one that flows in from Wyoming briefly. Otherwise, every river is a headwater and flows out. So there are other states that have water rights, and that's an issue we face because Arizona wants theirs, California wants theirs. Some of that water has to flow out on the eastern plains. The farmers and ranchers there, goes all the way into Nebraska.
Right.
But there's some concerns over the southeast plains.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little diagram here showing one of the major problems in Colorado with its water supply. Imagine this is the great state of Colorado here, and we're going to put an imaginary line right down the middle. Denver would be right here, here's the mountains, and this is everything west of the mountains, and then this is everything east of the mountains. So west of the mountains over here, we have 80% of our water. Over here, we have 80% of the population. Sorry for the handwriting, it's terrible. The issue with this is that we need to get 80% of the water, we need that to match the population, so we have to spend a lot of money in Colorado transferring water across the mountains over here where 80% of the population is. Also relating this back to agriculture, most of our farms here in Colorado are east of the Front Range, and they use 85% of our water alone. So we need this water over here, over the mountains, and that's difficult.
In a lot of ways, water is more valuable than gold in the state of Colorado. If we ran out of gold, the state would still be okay. If we run out of water, we're going to have some real issues.
I suspect that we're going to continue to see population growth and just more people fighting for at least similar or less water.
As far as working with the water resources we have, which will remain limited, we know that we're probably not going to get a lot more water. We'll probably get less, and we'll have more evaporation. But one thing we know is that the population is also going to continue to increase. So the strain on the water budget will continue to grow.
One of the biggest impacts to our water from the past up until the present has been the demand.
Alright, so here we have a graph depicting the water usage in Colorado versus the water supply. And as you can see, the water supply has had its ups and downs, but as of late, we are on the decline. And as mentioned before, you know that the population in Colorado is growing. And we can see right here about 1996, this is where we break even, I guess, water usage versus water supply. So since then, we've been increasing this gap.
If I were a farmer that relied on precipitation and precipitation patterns, I think that I would definitely have some concerns.
I think as far as agriculture is concerned, will be some real issues in terms of the eastern plains. There's a lot of southeastern Colorado that's really kind of gone almost back to the Dust Bowl era. And dryland farmers out there aren't even getting enough rain to really raise a winter wheat crop. So there may be some places where we're just not going to farm anymore.
A lot of our cities right now are, in fact, because they're growing, trying to buy up many water rights from our farmers.
So the fact that population is going to double by 2050 puts agriculture in a very dangerous position. This is because when there's twice as many people in Colorado that need water, they're going to pull from that 85% of the water usage, which is agriculture. They're not going to pull from, maybe municipalities right now use, I think, about 10%. They're not going to pull from that. They're going to try to pull from the agriculture and hurt our farmers' business.
We can conserve our way out of a lot of it. We can use less water. You can be wise about it. You can use less energy. You can buy a more fuel-efficient car. Turn off the lights. Don't use the AC as much. Insulate your home. Drive less when you can. Walk more. Ride your bike more. Take public transportation. We can do all of those things.
In the past 50 years, statewide temperatures have risen an average of 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit and are expected to continue to rise. This is a problem for agriculture because increasing temperatures raise evapotranspiration by plants, lower soil moisture, alter growing seasons, and increase water demand. In fact, the Palmer Drought Severity Index shows a trend towards more soil moisture drought conditions in the past 30 years. The growing cycle of Colorado's most important crops directly coincides with snowmelt. As temperatures increase and snowmelt becomes earlier and earlier, farmers will no longer have the amount of water they need during peak season and will have excess while the plants are not yet mature. For this reason, farmers will need to find new solutions in their use of water in agriculture.
Actually, farmers are already developing conservation practices for dryland irrigation. They are applying these to limited irrigation production systems. A few of these ideas that they're implementing are reducing tillage, which helps collect all types of precipitation as well as sprinkler water, and it also reduces evaporation loss of water. Another thing that they're doing is a lot of farmers are switching to drip irrigation systems, which helps preserve water by spreading out a smaller amount of water over a larger area. These are a couple things farmers are doing to combat climate change in Colorado.
Water is the lifeblood of the West, and especially here in Colorado, it's very important. I'm Mike Nelson. Our water concerns are something that everyone needs to be aware of.
A 14-time winning
Half of our, I can't do that.
This is our team. No, this isn't gonna work.
Matt, did you know that statewide